Welcome to Panther Sports Talk, sitting down with the Missouri Valley Conference regular season champion head volleyball coach Bobbi Petersen. And coach, I love sports because of the journey, because of the ride, and just thinking about where you started media day and before the season to where we are today. I know that I know the captains, I know the student athletes believed that it could happen, but to actually be experiencing a great regular season that started with competitive non-conference and a great MVC regular season. How do you feel right now with just the body of work that this team has done up to this point?
Yeah, I'm just super thankful. Part of it is because, we had some seniors that chose to come back when things were pretty challenging and pretty rough, and just not just come back, but be very intentional with what they wanted to do. And that started in the spring, and I know we had talked about that, but just being able to have a spring season, but you got to put the work in the spring season. It's not just having it. So putting the work in, taking advantage of that trip that we had to Croatia. You don't just go and have fun, but you take advantage of the opportunities that trip presents. And so I just feel like this team has just been very intentional with taking advantage of the things that have been put in front of them. And they've worked really hard at growing and becoming just a super one unit where everyone truly understands and believes that their role is important to where we're going. And that's to me what's been the most fun about it. Obviously winning is fun, but I think the way those things have happened has been more fun.
This team has won in many different ways, whether it's a quick 3-0 sweep or getting down 0-2 and having to do a reverse sweep. The belief that they have seems real, and how fun is that, being able to see them in these different positions, able to get the result with the win? Yeah,
and I think you're exactly right. And that's what's really neat, because a year ago it'd be very different in those scenarios. And I think, again, the preseason and the challenges that we had in the preseason non-conference schedule, we got beat up a little bit. We were put in some of those scenarios that you're talking about and maybe didn't come out successful. So how are we going to do that differently? It wasn't like, oh, wow, here we go. It was, okay, what can we do differently so when we get to conference season, when we're in those situations, that it ends up different. So it's just like, I think that's the evolving that we've done throughout the season. It's always wanting to do something better. We get to practice and we're going to get better at something, whatever that is in that moment that we're focusing on. And that's hard to do all year long. It gets to be a grind. We all know that. But the ability to just keep moving forward and knowing we've been in about every scenario that you can imagine, and we've been able to find a way to be successful in those scenarios.
A number of different times we've seen that next person in mentality, where it's not just 2 or 3 players carrying this team. It's someone coming off the bench or someone maybe's not having a great night, and then their teammate lifts them up. And it kind of seems to be what makes the team special, isn't it?
Definitely. And, we have, if you talk about go-to players, I'm like, well, it depends on the night who's going to be that go-to player. And I think that's what makes us special. That's what makes us hard to defend, because you can't just focus in on 1 or 2 people, even 3 people, because it's going to open it up. And Taylor's just done a really good job of being able to feel that and read that and get the ball to the people that she needs to. But it's those people trying to fight to be an option every single time. So the balance of our team, I love it. The defensive scrappiness and the ability to put up a much better block than we have, even at the beginning of the season, all those things improving throughout the year has really helped as well.
The Panthers are the Missouri Valley Conference regular season champions. They head to Evansville for the MVC tournament next week, and postseason beyond that. Hopefully, we'll talk more with head coach Bobbi Petersen right after this, right here on Panther Sports Talk.